I am again am Alex. Thank you for joining me today. Um, so, as you might be seeing from the title, we're going to talk about the movie When We First Met. Talked a little bit about it on my last episode of Neon Abyss, which is the game we're playing again today. And we're going to be also trying out a character that I've not tried before that I've recently unlocked, Matt. Um, so, real quick, just as a quick history on the game, pretty quickly I started playing as Saya, because she has a katana weapon where she can do a big slash upwards, and that was pretty beneficial. But I quickly found out that there are quite a few extra jump and flying upgrades. So that started to seem pretty pointless pretty quick. Then last episode, I tried out Amir, and I do like his ability that he can see item descriptions without having to pick them up. It's very helpful, especially in the temples, I guess they are. We get to choose between a couple different items. But he loses a heart container every level, and at least the first time I played, or well, the only time I played with him, I only got one additional heart container for the game, and it was very, very difficult. So I did end up beating the game, or the run that I played, but I definitely did not like that feature. Wade is pretty standard. There's no special item. Same thing with Anna. Wade just got a grenade and a key, and she's just got a key and an extra heart. So we're gonna give Matt a try, because he can roll, and I'm not sure what that does exactly in this game and how that functions, so I want to check it out. So we're playing as Matt, and let's jump on in. Alright, so this is his roll. We'll have to see. I can't roll during a jump, so that's not very functional. It's not something you can do over and over again, so I just don't know about... I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. We really will. There we go. Alright, so, you know what? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I see much benefit to this, to the roll. So, I don't know. We'll give it a shot here. Yeah, like I said, not seeing much benefit on that there. But, we'll see. So, oops. I don't know. Alright, so, oh, you know what? Real quick, I'm just gonna put you guys on pause here. Bear with me just a moment. I'm gonna take a drink of water. Alright, sorry about that. So we're trying out Matt, and so far, as I mentioned, I gotta say I'm, at least so far, I don't think I'll be going back to him. Unless there's a special unlock for beating the game with every single character, and I don't happen to beat the game with this one. I don't know what that is, but it looks like the RoboCop helmet. So that's pretty much the character out of the way as far as what I advertised in this episode. Which brings us to our next topic is I wanted to talk about the movie When We First Met. It's a movie on Netflix, and I had seen it once before, but I had recently, in the last couple days here, had just talked about the movie Palm Springs, which is on Hulu. I really enjoyed that movie. It was a lot of fun. I might talk about it a little bit. You know what? I'm not going to talk about it because there's a lot of spoilers and a lot of things to talk about as soon as I take anything out of it. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a really great movie. I think you'll like it a lot. And gosh, I might even say maybe if you haven't seen it and you want to maybe watch that before you go any further on this episode. I'm not gonna really get into much about anything of Palm Springs, but I don't know, just forewarned. So, When We First Met, again, another great movie. Definitely a little bit more of the goofy, I would definitely say pretty much a romantic comedy through and through. I would say that this has enough that if you're not a big fan of romantic comedies, that you might still get some good fun out of this, especially if you're a fan of Adam Devine, which I am. I've been a big fan of him since Workaholics, and I either have seen everything that those guys have done, or plan to, or making plans to see everything that they've done, except for the final season of Workaholics. And I went over this last episode when I was briefly mentioning When We First Met. And just as a quick reminder on that, I have not finished that show because when shows go to their final season, and I know it's the final season, I don't want the journey to end, and if I don't finish the season, then the journey hasn't ended for me and there's still more to experience. So I often do that with shows that I really, really like, and that's why I haven't seen that season. But I'm going to be rectifying that. In fact, I may go back and watch it so that I can specifically talk about it on my stream here. So maybe we'll have that as a future episode coming here. But for now, we're just going to talk about the movie When We Met. When We First Met. So, with that movie, like I said, it is a romantic comedy, and it is a pretty... I'll just say the premise of the movie, very much so, is about the guy that's desperately in love with the girl, that he is the best friend, and got put in the friend zone on the night that they first met, and was never able to get out of the friend zone because she met the love of her life the very night after they met, and he never had a chance to make it anything romantic. So that's the starting point of the movie, if you will. And so So, basically he meets her at this party. They meet, they hit it off, they have this great time, but he thinks it's, he's feeling the romance vibes, and at the end of the night, increase shields, and I'm probably damage. Okay, cool. But at the end of the night, she's like, oh, it's so great to have a guy friend. I think, like, maybe even, like, the super stereotypical, like, oh, it's so great I have a guy that I can just be friends with, without any sexual tension or whatever. Maybe not quite that bad, but maybe it is quite that bad. But either way, in the movie, it fast forwards 3 years, to the girl's engagement party, and they're getting married, and so real quick, the night that Adam Devine is Noah, and I think it's Avery, if I'm remembering correctly. And if I'm not remembering correctly, that's just what I'm gonna go with. But I did just watch the movie today, so I'm thinking that's right. So anyway, it's 3 years later. He's at their engagement party, moping about how, he never had a chance to get with her. And, if only he could, do that one. And that his biggest regret is that, he didn't have the chance to go on that next date because she met the love of her life the very next day, right? So that, standard fare there. And, oh man, oh man. Oh crap, I can't get that. That is a bummer. Man. Okay, I guess that's that then, huh? Alright, so he, he's upset, right? So the night that they meet, oh, get the money. So the night that Noah and Avery meet, right? They go into a, I don't want to say old-timey, but let's just say maybe 70s or 80s photo booth that has the real film photo booth that develops while you wait kind of thing. Stylish, classy looking, wooden, blah blah blah. So they go into that photo booth, they make some pictures, and he's never done photo booth photos before, so it's his first time, right? So that's a big part of his memory of her, and like pining for her as he's in the photo booth. So night of their engagement, gets super drunk, embarrasses himself, blah 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 blah, and ends up in that photo booth wishing that he could do it all over again and that he had another chance, right? And so lo and behold, that photo booth, or well, I don't know if it's a photo booth exactly because they never really say, but after making that wish, he wakes up and it is it the night before or the night of? Either way, it's either the night before or the night of the party that they met 3 years ago. And he re-experiences it, does it a different way. And so, he goes back in time. And then the great thing is that, or at least the fun premise of the movie, or conceit of the movie, is that, so he goes back in time 3 years, lives out the night differently, and then when he wakes up, it's back 3 years later again when he started. So I think that this is a really fun conceit because it's like, you know, it's not quite a, you know, relive the exact same day over and over, but it still has that Groundhog Day kind of time loop thing. But it's, I don't know, it's a lot of fun going through it because there's different things like, you know, like, oh, I become the douchey guy at the party, and then after that, you wake up 3 years later of being the douchey guy at the party, and now you're just known as the douchey guy. Or, you know, you think the girl wants a guy that has, you know, like the career and his whole life planned out and blah blah blah, and so it's like, okay, I'm gonna go into this and get the corporate job and make a lot of money and be the guy that she wants, and then you wake up to the consequences of living the corporate life for 3 years straight and doing everything necessary to succeed at your job and nothing else because you think that she wants you to have the great job, or that's why she didn't go for you, is because she didn't have a good enough job. That kind of thing. Melee weapon damage, I don't have that, but I will go back to the store. Ooh, maybe there's, let's see here. Oh, no keys or bombs. Okay, robot armor. Drop extra shields when you get hurt. Okay. Alright. Oh, let's just go ahead and teleport back. So it's a lot of fun. Definitely a bit of the cheesy romance. Maybe more than a bit. Maybe a lot of the cheesy romance. But, it's silly. You know, like I say, if you're a fan of Adam Devine, being Adam Devine, he's great. He does a great job. It's, you know, and especially once you get into the, you know, oh, I'm in Groundhog Day, and you're really trying to, I don't want to say, you're trying to play the system. He does a good job at that, and being that guy who's very aware of the situation that he's in. Man, I am close to death. But yeah, so like I said, it's a lot of fun. It's a little bit of a different spin on the Groundhog Day formula. I had a lot of fun with it, but again, as I mentioned before, if you tell me that there's a movie that's like a Groundhog Day type premise, I will check it out. I think it's, I don't know, I just think that those kinds of movies, that concept is a lot of fun. And also was mentioning before too, that I wouldn't say that I hate time travel movies and TV shows and stuff, but I'm not, like, it has to be really good to get me on board with time travel stuff. And as the regular, I guess, conceit of your show, or whatever you want to say. I think that there's something about... Oh, I didn't do that right at all. I think there's something about having everything reset and the journey that you took, or even if it's just part of that journey that you took, not counting, or not, you know, like, you go through an experience and then, like, you try to undo the past and then you undo it, and, you know, nobody knows who you are, and then you try to undo the change that you made to the past, and then, you know, you either fix the mistake and everything goes back to normal, in which case the stuff that's in the movie doesn't matter, or you end up changing things again so that you're in a third situation or a third timeline. And so it's like, well, what happened in this timeline? And, you know, like, I think someone talked about, or many people have talked about probably, that, you know, it's gotta be very weird in Back to the Future for Marty in the first movie, that, like, the parents that he comes back to are not his parents. You know, well, yes, they are, you know, it's still the same physical mom and dad, but, you know, your dad is now the guy who, ooh, I died. Oh no. Who took charge and, you know, was assertive and did this, that, and the other. Where he used to be very meek and meager and, you know, very introverted. And, you know, that's gotta be very strange to see your parents acting differently and a completely different person. And, you know, and I'm sure in some good ways, but also in, like, some bad ways, because you gotta think, you know, like, these are your parents that you had your memories with. I mean, like, hey, remember when we did this and this? Like, no, because we didn't do any of those things that we did as a kid. We made these different memories that you don't have. You don't have these memories because you were in the time loop and you remember your old memories. I mean, that's usually the case, where you don't remember the new memories, or maybe you do remember the memories, but it's like they feel like weird, like there's somebody else's memories or whatever, you know, like it's like a secondhand memory that you remember it, but you didn't really experience it, and it's just kind of there, and it doesn't feel quite real, or, you know, something to that degree, because, you know, no one's, as far as we know, no one's ever gone through that to where their memories have been implanted and time corrected, I guess you would say. Upgrade your weapon. So yeah, I don't know. Those are just my thoughts. So anyway, when we first met, really fun movie. And I will say, if you are a fan of romantic comedies, this is absolutely well, I mean, it's a great movie either way. But, you know, definitely, if you are in any way a fan of romantic comedies, or, you know, where you're like, well, I like a few, but, you know, like, they have to be really good or be something special, I would say that this is that something special. That's me. I liked it. And speaking, you know, while we're on the topic of romantic comedies, I also like the movie How Do You Know? I will say that is definitely a movie for people who really like romantic comedies. That is a romantic comedy through and through. You know, probably that one probably especially has every trope in the book, and I would say most likely not, like, using them all very unironically and Sincerely and all that. I really liked it. It's How Do You Know is Paul Rudd and Reese Witherspoon, and I would say, like, to me, there are certain movies that are just pleasant movies, I guess you would say. You know, like, oh, I really had a good time either, you know, living in this world, or getting to know these people, or, you know, watching this relationship take place or start, or whatever you want to say. I think that that's one of those movies for me, at least. And it very well may be, like, I think there's certain movies where it's like, yeah, like, I'm not gonna defend this movie, like, it's not, you know, it's a by the numbers romantic comedy, but I enjoyed it, and every time I go back and watch it, I really enjoy it. Oh, and that movie's got Owen Wilson in it as well. Very good movie to me. Again, especially if you are a fan of the, you know, normal romantic comedy, you know, and obviously there's, you know, better ones than others, and, you know, obviously nothing's gonna beat, like, When Harry Met Sally, or anything like that. But, you know, like myself, I grew up on When Harry Met Sally, and Sleepless in Seattle, and You've Got Mail, and, you know, French Kiss with Meg Ryan and Kevin Kline, and, you know, even into, like, the lesser knowns, like Addicted to Love with Meg Ryan and all that stuff. You know, grew up on romantic comedies, you know, love seeing people fall in love, and, you know, sincere, heartfelt moments, and all that stuff. I mean, you have to have some good actors in it, and, like, but, you know, if there's a good actor that's giving a good performance, you know, like, all the rest of it doesn't have to be, you know, Oscar winning, this and that, you know. And hey, if you don't like those movies, that's fine. You don't like those movies, you don't have to like those movies. Some people love horror movies. Excuse me for one moment, I'm gonna take another drink of my water. Thank you for your patience there. But yeah, some people love horror movies, and I guess I get the concept of that. I'm not... Well, I guess I take that back, because there's been a few suspense or horror or thriller movies or whatever that I have enjoyed, that are really good, that can take me there. But again, by and large, I don't want to go there. I don't really want to watch people dying one by one, or you know, like you know, it seems like, you know, your basic horror stuff is either people getting picked off one by one by a killer, or zombies, or this or that or the other, or there is a single person going through a horrifying experience, and or a combination of both of those things together. Sometimes it's a group of people going through an extreme horrifying experience and getting picked off one by one. But, you know, either way, not a huge fan of those types of movies, and that's fine. And you may not be a fan of romantic comedies. That's fine too. But, you know, If you are, then check those out. If you're not, don't. But I will say that I think at least, let's see, yeah, probably not worth doing. Well, yeah, let's do that. Okay. But I would say that, again, when we first met, the Groundhog Day time loop of it, for me, made it very worthwhile. And let's see, was there? No, it wasn't. Alright. And especially the conceit of every time you do the loop, you're not just repeating the same day over and over again. You are you are going back to this specific day 3 years ago, living that one day, and then waking up 3 years later again to find out what the consequences are and what the ramifications are of, behaving differently or being this person. I'm not getting the coins from the baddie guys. What's going on with that? I wonder. Interesting. So yeah, I like that. I like the, like I said, the idea of going 3 years, going back 3 years, living a day, then waking up 3 years later, and then finding out, what happened, unbeknownst to you. A lot of fun. And then conversely, Palm Springs, really good. True, Groundhog Day premise of, we are in a time loop day over and over and over again thing. Love them both. So, I would check both those movies out. They're a lot of fun. And I definitely think, it's so funny because and I might have mentioned this last episode, but I'll mention it again because I still think it's true. I would be very interested to see, like in Palm Springs, they have a Groundhog Day where, like, 2 or a couple people are in this time loop, and you can pull other people into the time loop with you, and suddenly they start experiencing that time, right? And it's a very interesting premise. It builds on that Groundhog Day idea that, like, at this point we all, I think we all know so well. I haven't seen it, but I have heard, that even in Happy Death Day, 1 or 2, I forget which one, but I think someone said in one of them they specifically make a mention that they're in a Groundhog Day situation, and they make specific reference to that, which is cool. Like, I think that's smart because everybody knows it. So, but yeah, I think it would be interesting to go beyond 2 people, to have it be like a big group of people, like 5 or 10 or 20, or like, like this wedding is at this remote location, and to have it just seems like a funny concept to have. Suddenly you have like 20 people all living the same day, and whether or not it's in this context, but just thinking of Palm Springs, like, you're out of town for a wedding and you're around like, some of your family who you know super well and you love and you do anything for, but then you're also with, like, your sister's or your cousin's boyfriend who you don't know, and like all these people on the other side of the wedding, you know, like you're on the bride's side, but you don't know anybody on the groom's side, but you're all stuck in this place because you're all at a hotel and you're all in this wedding together, and you know, it's in a remote location, so you're not near the people, you know, your friends and family, and you know, maybe you couldn't get to them in time to start pulling them into the time loop, or maybe you don't want to pull them into the time loop. But any, you know, like all those things would be very interesting to have a bunch of people start getting caught up in this time loop, and you have like a town. Maybe that's more of a show where you get a town of people who are stuck in a time loop and have to relive the same day over and over. And it's, you know, like, what do you do? Like, there's nothing, you know, like, nobody has to go to work because everybody wakes up every day, and there's, you know, like, you have the same food in the fridge every day, and, you know, like, you either have to eat the food in your fridge or, you know, go to the store and grab meat, or, you know, maybe Frank's got steaks that are imported and, you know, they're just coming in the mail, and those are the only steaks in town. So, like, if someone wants steaks, they either gotta, like, do something for Frank, or steal them from Frank, or steal them from the mail guy. And, you know, who's getting pulled into this time loop? Oh, don't pull Kathy into the time loop. No one likes Kathy. Like, let's just let her do her own thing, or whatever. Or, you know, I don't know. I think there'd be a lot of fun things you could do in that. And depending on how wacky or comic you wanted to go with it, like, you could have, like, the person that nobody likes, and, like, they're not part of the time loop, so you just kill them every day. And, or, you know, maybe not, maybe that's dumb, but, like, if you did kill that person every day, then you're suddenly, like, out of the time loop, and that person is dead because you've been killing them every day for so long. And, like, like, that doesn't matter, but now, like, oh, wait, we exited the time loop, and now I killed somebody. Oh, God. I don't know, probably wouldn't do that, but, I don't know, it seems like there'd be a lot of fun stuff to do with that, so. Well, so I think that's where we're going to end it, because that's about all I have to say about those movies. And I don't seem to be doing all that well right now. So I think we'll just chalk this up to not having a good night as far as our runs go. But we have had the chance to try Anna and Matt. I'm very curious to see what's going on with the coins, though, because at least Matt and Saya and Amir, I wonder if that's like a specific thing for Anna, that she doesn't get money by squashing bugs or something. I don't know. We will see. So, alright, well, again, thank you very much for joining me today, and I appreciate it. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, ring the notification bell for all my notifications. Leave me a comment so that I can comment you back. And last thing, have a great evening, and enjoy the rest of your day. Good night.